Hey, True Believers. Today we are going over Suicide Squad issue 15. This is a follow-up to the last issue that we did yesterday, and this book is equally harrowing. There is some disturbing imagery, but overall I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Last issue, the book ends with the Joker choking Harley out, and it's interesting what she's thinking as the Joker's choking her. She goes, "Have you ever been in the presence of greatness, true greatness?" I'm not talking about a celebrity or an athlete. And then the up close, so you get that uncanny valley of the eyes, just adds to the darkness. I'm talking about someone who changes the world. Someone who history will never forget. That's the way you open a book. You're just kind of like, holy macaroni, what is going on here? And then we get a relatively gorgeous looking, even though it's a little front on, so it's a little flat, but still interesting double page splash here of the Joker with the chain choking Harley out. It's just good stuff all around. So this is, again, the tie into the Death in the Family. This is Running with the Devil Part 2, Adam Glass writer, Fernando Daguino artist, Matt Yake colors, Jared K. Fletcher letterer. There's everyone else working on the book. And Harley's talking about being in the presence of true greatness, of someone who will change the world. She says, "It's to die for." And then she passes out. And I like that when she awakes, you know, she's kind of in that euphoric stage. And she's like, "There you are, Mr. J." And I like how you can kind of see the iris, of, or, you know, the lids of the eyes opening. And she thinks she sees the Joker that she fell in love with. She goes, "I had the most terrible nightmare. I dreamt the most terrible dream ever." "Oh, do tell, Harley." She goes, "You were different." "Different?" "Yeah, you were a..." And then when she finally wakes up, a monster. And so we kind of get that juxtaposition of normal Mr. J to the nightmare, twisted version that's just rocking the meat hooks to keep his face hooked together. So the Joker's essentially saying that the acid vat that he threw her in that made her skin completely white in the New 52 didn't change her the way he did. So he's saying that we need a refresher course before I can make you what I want you to be. And so again, this book just does not really give you a chance to breathe. Even when we cut away to the main arc of the Suicide Squad, where Yo-Yo's kind of making an alliance with Amanda Waller, they're watching everything unfold on the monitors through contact lens that Amanda secretly installed in Harley, because she wants to know more about the, what's it called? She says, "I knew she'd get me a ringside seat to watch one of the greatest criminal minds of our time in action." And that was priceless. And so we kind of, at least that's the writer's way of saying, you know, we still have an arc going on, but I want to tie into the Death of the Family. So as he goes to push her in the vat, Harley, being the way she is, takes him with her. And it's just some good action, great way that the artwork here pushes the story. Not a lot of dialogue, just enough of them to kind of quip and add to the scenes. Now this is where my heart is broken. Again, if you guys have not read these books, spoiler alerts. The Joker's like, "I did something to our babies. They've missed their mommy." And he purposely infected Bud and Lou with rabies. And I hate that, because Bud and Lou were always two of my favorite, even though they're animals. He goes, "They're running on pure animal instinct. It's a thing of beauty, as are you about to find out." He goes, "Pain's removed, as is emotion. You'll be able to be something more than what you were." And so while Harley's having to listen to all this drivel from the Joker, she goes, "Goodbye, Lou," snaps his neck. "And Bud, my special boy, I'm sorry." And he goes flying off into a pit. I remember the first time I read this many years ago, that just, that rubbed me the wrong way. Because the New 52 really got, you know, they pushed some boundaries compared to its predecessor pre-Flashpoint. So you're just kind of like, holy moly. And then two things that I like that Glass added is when Amanda's talking, as she's watching all this unfold through the surveillance cameras, she says that deep down, in his own twisted way, the Joker loves Harley. And he knows that he's lost her, and that's why he's essentially trying to change her to bring her back to him, even though he'll never admit in his conscious state that he wants her. And then here, the Joker, they get into this big old fight, and the Joker saying, since I removed my face, I don't feel pain. He goes, as you are about to find out. And then he pulls a Mike Tyson on her, bites her ear. Geez, the intensity, where she throws his face on a furnace. The face essentially melts off. But one thing that kind of trips me out is I kind of feel like there should have been some burn marks, at least on the skin of this mask, because he pulls it off, and it's fine. There should have been, I don't know, some battle damage through all the things that he does, both attacking the Bat family and his former girlfriend. Now, the one thing about this book that really irked me is, he gets Harley unconscious. And when she wakes up, she's in this dungeon with all these bodies. He's like, I'll lock you in here with the other Harleys. What? You thought you were the first one? I can tell you this, you won't even be the last. After some years, this book's grown on me. I can kind of see what they were trying to do and something original. Joker's always had different Harleys. What's his name? Sean Gordon Murphy kind of teased that in the White Knight story where, he had the Neo Joker who was the Harley after the original one left him. Stuff like that. And to see that what he does to all his previous Harleys, but at the same time, it kind of takes away from what Paul Dini and Bruce Timm originally intended for Harley to be. So it's kind of a catch-22 where you kind of like that the writer's doing something new, but in terms of what the character's supposed to be, it just sort of irks your gurk. But still, horrific artwork that really adds to this story. So at the end, you discover something in terms of the Suicide Squad and the way Harley talks about how she had to escape. Just the look of trauma on her face. It just really gets to you. So yeah, guys, Suicide Squad issue 15 that tied into Death of the Family. It's not, it's equal or maybe more gory and horrific than issue 14. But it was just something interesting. Like if you go back and read all the Death of the Family tie-ins and not just stick to the Bat book, there's some really interesting takes on the Joker and the way that he screws with everyone. And this one kind of broke my heart because at the time, Harley wasn't a parody of herself yet, so you were kind of hoping to see glimpses of what she used to be. Seeing Bud and Lou dying at the hands of what the Joker did to them. Just some really heartbreaking stuff, but nonetheless interesting storytelling. So if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Jokerfish bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.